All right, Vasiliy, you're starting to sound like flute time Thurman. I don't want to see you in a park playing the flute because that's what you're starting to sound like to me. I don't know. Before I get into this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. With that being said, let's get into the video. So here's the deal. Vasiliy Lomachenko is saying that Teofimo Lopez is running scared of him ever since he got his shoulder fixed. Ever since he got healthy, Teo is running from him scared. Here's what I got to say to that. First off, why would Teo be scared of you? I don't even know if Teo really believes that you were injured. Second off, it's your fault that the fight happened. It's not like there was a crowd or anything. You could have postponed the fight. You know what I mean? Like, there was no attendance there. So there was no tickets to refund, no hotels to refund. It would have been very easy to move that venue to another date so you could get taken care of with your shoulder fixed. Easy. I know. Makes sense. Moving on. But you didn't choose to do that. Not only did you not choose to do that, but nobody even knew about your shoulder injury till after the fight. Third thing. You believed that you had won the fight. You were happy until you heard the scorecards read. Then you got butthurt and walked out of the ring. Now, here's my thing. I listened to your breakdown, and it made absolutely no fucking sense. You said you believed the first 6 rounds were a draw. I mean, it was Teo. The second half of the fight was you. And in Russia or Europe or something that you said, that they take the last 3 rounds, 10, 11, and 12, and see who won those rounds, and then they get the winner. And then you was like, you won 10 and 11, and Teo won 12, so you won the fight because that's 2-1. I don't even understand what you were trying to break down and say. Like, I don't even know what this written, unwritten rule is in boxing, because it sure as hell don't exist in America. Like, I've never heard of that, to where if you end in a draw, they take the last 3 rounds and see who the winner is. I've never heard of that, ever. Never. You're the first person I've heard mention that. So you were complaining about you got robbed, you got cheated, that you should have won the fight when you shouldn't have. Here's the deal. Here's how I see it, and I'll come back full circle to this. For the first 6 rounds, you did not let your hands go. You didn't. You stood in front of Teo, you did your little dancing, you did your little matrix thing, but you never fired back. Well, you can't win a round if you don't fire back. You have to throw shots back. Now, depending on how people rate that second round, which I actually gave to you, I had to fight a draw. However, I would never sit here and argue with anybody who gave that second round to Teo. I wouldn't, because you were very inactive. The only reason why I gave you the shots was, even though Teo was the aggressor, threw more punches, I felt like you landed more and landed the cleaner shots when you landed in that second round. That's the only reason why I gave you the second round. But I can see other people not giving you the second round because Teo was still hitting you with grazing shots. So I would not be mad. And I would not be mad if they did a 10-10 round, which I don't do, but if they did, you would still lose because you lost the 12th round. So your argument really goes out the window when you look at it. You lost the first 6, and you didn't even win the second half. So the last 6 you didn't even win. You lost the 12th round, so you won 5 out of the last half of the fight. So all aspects that I look at, even though I thought it was a draw, I would never argue with anybody giving it 7-5 to Teo. I can't. I cannot argue with that. Now, there was a scorecard that was outlandish, but the fact of the matter remained, even though that scorecard was outlandish, I still would not argue with anybody saying you lost the fight. So, again, my whole point of this video is this. Teo is not scared of you. You're starting to sound like Keith Flute Time Thurman because you're still crying. You cannot say Teofimo Lopez is scared of you until you do something. Once you do something, then maybe you could have a stake or a claim to that, an argument with that, but you haven't done anything. All you've done is cry ever since you lost that fight. That's it. That's all you've done. Now here's my real question for you. We've seen you lose before. You lost against Salido. Why didn't you cry that much about the Salido fight when you got hit 100 times in your nuts? When you got elbowed, headbutted, etc. When the referee was against you? Why didn't you cry about losing that fight? Why didn't you want to do the rematch to that fight? Were you scared of Salido? Because if I go by your logic, then you were scared of Salido because you didn't want the get back. You was just satisfied with taking a loss to him. So, if you're going to judge people by your logic, then be prepared to be judged by your logic. And your logic says you were scared of Salido because you didn't want to rematch with him. So now because Teo doesn't want to rematch with you, he's scared of you. No, again, as I was saying, you have to do something for people to even believe that. You lost to him. That was your last fight. It ain't in a loss. You lost. Period. What have you done since your loss? Nothing but gripe, moan, bitch, and complain. That's all you've done. That's all you've done. Get in there, beat somebody's ass, look impressive, and then maybe people will take your side and be like, okay, maybe he was injured. Go in there, and you was talking about fighting Nakatani. Go in there and make Nakatani quit on the fucking stool like you made fighters of the past quit on the stool. I believe you made 4 fighters in a row quit on their stool. Do that to Nakatani. Make him quit on his stool or knock him the fuck out. One side ass whoop him. And then you could say, see how good I did? I'm back. After Nakatani, if Teo doesn't fight Devin Haney, fight Devin Haney. Beat him in a one-sided match. Then you'll get the real WBC belt. Guess what? Then you can have a real undisputed. Because the one that you and Teo had was not undisputed. So you could do that. There's that avenue. Go fight Ryan Garcia. You have to fight somebody to even put out the illusion of Teo being lost. Because right now, all people see is Teo beat you, you're crying, and you've done absolutely nothing since your loss. And that's really where I'm going to end it. I'm just getting tired of seeing Lomachenko cry. Now, in fact, let me add one little piece to this. I am not a Lomachenko hater, but I am not a Lomachenko praiser. I am not a part of the temple of Lomachenko. He is not my Lord and Savior, like some people's. And I am not a part of the one side who shits on this man, who says he was gifted everything, which he wasn't. He had the best amateur record that's ever happened in boxing history. That's why he was accelerated, because of how good his amateur record was. And he's a 3-divisional champion. He fought great fighters and beat them. So the man can fight. I am not hating on Lomachenko. What I am talking about is him crying. I cannot co-sign crying. You got your ass whooped, dust yourself off, get up, and go back in there and do better. If you learned something from the fight, learn to let your fucking hands go, and this won't happen in the future. Again, on that note, we're going to end it here. Thank y'all for listening. Oh yeah, hit up the comment section. Really, truthfully, guys, I just jumped back on for a few seconds, so this will hit 9 minutes. I was at 8:53. We might as well go the extra 7 minutes to hit 9 minutes. Why 9 minutes? Because 9 minutes sounds better than 8 minutes and 53 seconds. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.